Welcome back to another vlog. You'll see this week, it kind of puts me back because now it's about 3 months after these videos were shot, but it puts me back into the stress of all of it because I was working on so many things at once. The Mound, the frame of the Mound, the Portal of Eminence frame, and the priming of it. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of time lapses this week, and next week we continue even deeper into the painting process that I start at the end of this video. So thanks for watching it and hope you enjoy. So I've been mapping out the scale. I've got this little thing in so that I can bend the rods, but I wanted to make sure I understood the structure and what it's for. So I did a little research to create this model. The lines are like the different rods that are going to be bent in different increments. But the main insight was that where should I put the entrance of this mound symbolically? Because I do astrology, and when you're born, it gives you your rising sign, which is your first house in the zodiac. So because this is a mound that's meant to be reborn, I thought it would be meaningful to have the entrance in the east, where the sun rises, where the sun is born. But I'm gonna have now two entrances, or like one entrance and one exit. So in the west side of the gallery will be the entrance. So symbolically, that's death. So it's kind of like when you enter, you have to leave behind your personality, what you were born with in this lifetime. You go inside the womb where you're in the darkness, and inside that darkness, you commute with your spirit, you commute with your higher self through the divine feminine's body, through the empty space. Once you find your soul, you find who you really are, then you exit and are reborn in the east. So here there'll be like the statue of Nuit, which is symbolically like you're going through her, and this is her body, you're inside of her, and then you exit here, and then there's gonna be my little scarab beetle sculpture here on a little platform. And this is what it's gonna look like really to scale in its size. So it's gonna be a total of 9 feet. This is 3 feet and then 2 feet each, and then the entrance. And then the entrance, I wanna make it very narrow because I want it, the pain of death is hard, so you should have to crawl as a symbol of facing that discomfort. You crawl in this tight hole, and then you exit in the east. And then I want to have in the gallery, I think I mapped it out here, as you exit in the east, the sculpture I did with the 3 parts, I'll show you in another video, but this is the symbol of the rebirth and the whole process of the mound. So you get to see this as you exit. And that's going to be the corner of the gallery, which I don't have the map with me right now. But it's also interesting, yeah, I wrote it down here. In the myth of Nuit, the goddess Nuit, she swallows the sun in the west here and gives birth to it in the east. So it's kind of like the metaphor of our own zodiac sign, of our own humanity, and our own soul is all embodied in this mound. There's going to be a lot of encoded mysteries inside of it, so everything's going to be symbolic. Nothing is going to be random, because I want it to become like a ritual, like an actual place that real energies are moving through. So look how cool this came out. It's got so many dimensions to it, because there's like this concave, convex. So this comes out a little bit, this comes in a little bit, same here comes in, plus with so you see here it's kind of coming out, but they all have the texture reversed of this kind of hammered effect, and it really creates this sort of holographic with all the circles now because of the polishing. It really creates a lot of energy, I find, moving out, plus the accumulation of all the hammer and all the sound that was created from the creation of this hammered effect. I feel plays into this overall experience that are helpful to translate, because now tomorrow probably I'll bring it to get powder coated, and then finally I'll be able to start prepping the surface to paint it. And who knows, maybe I won't do that as much as I thought I would. I like the surprise, because I've never done this before, so I didn't know what to expect. It's all a big surprise. And so, as you can see, I've installed this drawer. I don't think it's there. That's probably the left door I put on the right and the right and the left, but this will close like this. And then here, there's of course, the walnut piece door that's coming on top of it. So you won't see the back of this metal. That's why I'm not paying too much attention. So you see now it's not coming perfect because they're not like in the right direction. But you can start seeing what it's gonna look like once it's closed. Cool. Thought I'd jump on here to give you a little update of what I'm doing. So now you see my statue is drying. She's like half dried. So you see down here, that's the dry part. It's lighter. All the top has to dry. Forehead is almost dry. But yeah, I'm waiting for this, finishing up the Mound sculpture. And then I'm working on the visionary. Well, for the visionary rose gift, I'm going to be giving away the money live on a live event, but I want to take advantage of the moment to also talk about my observations. After everyone has applied to the grant, I'll be back to work tomorrow on my artworks. So you can see here, that's the beginning of the presentation. It's going to be called the Rose Ephemeris, which is sort of the overview of the stars of the year 2025, and it's based off all the stars, which are the humans that applied to the grant. So I'm going to give a little presentation on that, and then I won't show them now, but I'm going to highlight a few applications and a few that represent some of the themes well that I've recorded. I just received my the studies I'll have for my art show. They're finally framed, so I'm going to open these to check what they look like. Shot of Victory. So at first I was not even sure to show these pieces, but hopefully I can sell those for cheaper because this was a very expensive pearl. It's a lot easier to mount it or stretch, so it's a lot easier to piece. The guy that framed them, he stored in a museum grade. Guess he's used to packing them up very. So first one, let's see. Okay, that's very nice. The soul frame, although that's good because it's very matte. Unboxing my Christmas present to myself. It's not just a Christmas present, but it's also a tool for everything I do. It's a sort of strobe light as its own. Okay, it's very heavy. Traveling suitcase. So it's actually like a cinema light because I love to have good lighting in my studio. So yeah, I don't know what you guys saw. So here it is. There's two of those LED lights. Super powerful. The difference between the one that's the series right before is that I was reading about. These are powerful enough that you can light up a daylight scene and have a shot and make your own shadow when it's pure sun. While the other ones, you can use it for interior, a set that's at night. This you can actually use it during the day outside. So I'll be setting it up and I'll show you guys after. So here it is, my first time using this kind of cinema lamp. This is huge. If you look just to scale, this is the whole box. Nice light. Anyways, it's pretty cool. And the good thing is, from my phone app, I can control all the colors. It's so strong. There you go. Then I use it to capture my paintings in a nice light and film podcasts and so many things. So as you see, it's now set up. All right, so right now I'm starting this little sauna, cutting a bit of cardboard. I'm gonna be starting. I just was waiting for the perfect night where we can hear the rain on the roof here. Start this fire so that I can record I wouldn't say soundtrack, but the auditory aspect of my art show. I wanted to have a blend of fire and water, so I'm going to be recording that in here. So just wanted to share this with you guys, and after I'm going back to the metal shop to finish the frame and go from there. So I've been waiting quite a long time because I'll put the mic a bit closer to the fire, but you can hear it has this kind of air sucking like sound that I don't want. I rather just the like little sparkling sound. I will be painting gold stars on my two sculptures here. Some of the details I wanted didn't come through when I baked them, so I'll be giving them a little bit of more power in this way. Photoshoot. I got my camera there, all my sculptures. Made this like backdrop with a rock canvas I had, and I added some details on the rim so it has a nice glow. So this I just finished repainting so that I could photograph it. This too. So you see the gold on it. It's already done. Same with this one at the end. So pretty happy. Tried doing a few different shots of like this sculpture a bit more in the dark, and then the other ones you see full bright for other types of publications. And this one, and Nuit I did a lot just because the show I have soon, they want to have certain I guess shots to advertise. So I'm gonna have some that's gonna be more close-ups, and some are more just to see all the small details. And now I'm going to work on the mound again, so I'll see you there. So today is the day we're finally going to be putting first a layer of plaster on there so that we have a hard finish, and so we don't need as much earth and clay when we actually install it in the gallery. So that's the plan for today. Today was the Ephemeris event, so this was for all the people that applied. I had offered us a grant to any visionary artist that wanted to apply, and you could read
money, or it's in Spain, and a few other prizes. And so today was the sort of the ceremony to receive the prizes and announce the winner, but also to learn about numerology. So this was the day today where I did actually a 2-hour presentation, visionary art, the reason why it's so important in this day and age, as well as again the announcement and a brief history of visionary art and being visionary as a general concept. So just wanted to share with you guys because the immense to be my other Rosenberg, and now I'm basically cleaning and applying this sort of stain over, but it's basically for stains. My two pens, and then whatever resin is in this wood just stands through the. So Apney Limbo is from a vision of a Zarian piece, and the villain of existence. And I have another even bigger frame. Saying this that tomorrow they're timing, so I have 1 week, that I can't work because I wouldn't stressful because I have so much to do.
As you can see behind here, the mound. Well, I can show you guys. It's now frozen. This is the cement I did yesterday. It's not rock hard. Looks pretty cool to see it emerge like that. And then tomorrow I'm gonna try to finish this with my dad in the daytime. So it's kind of the last kind of rush before I have to install on January. It's gonna be heavy, but it's gonna be beautiful, I think. So I'm about to catch a flight, but because I have so much work to do before the show, I'm finished the most things possible before leaving because I have to go for a week. So I'm gonna scrub this bit with oil with a 220 to take off the shine, and then applying a primer at the ears to apply the Spirulina. So this is done scruffing. I just finished wiping it with water, and now I'm gonna put some isopropyl rubbing alcohol just to make sure there's no grease or nothing on it. Then I'm gonna apply the tape back again, well, again, where there's no tape, so that I can start the painting without, going through the possibility that it actually paints the blue that I want to keep. So that'll be good. Well, my flight got cancelled, so I got a bit more time to finish my work in the next 2 days. They cancelled it for 2 days in a row, so here we are. I'm gonna be doing what I was supposed to be doing. Sandable white alkyd ground, 2 layers. This will be the final coat before I start painting, so it's designed really for oil paint. So that's what I'm working on today. Photograph this artwork, but first I have to fix it because when I moved it, this stem broke off. The whole thing fell off the floor about 4 feet, so I need to remelt this and put the wax back. Plus, I'm probably not going to be able to light it up until the show. So this is kind of the inauguration of this piece. So I have to be quick because perhaps those higher candles are going to be okay for a little bit, but those small ones at the bottom are going to burn very quickly. So I have to take a few pictures for the show. A few seconds, if not a few minutes. 12 little candles. 7 big ones. I don't know if you can hear the little sparkling noise. Oh no, I might not have any more. Shit. Fire. 1, 2. Okay. And wow, it's pretty cool. I love the sound it's making too. It's pretty cool. So now I'm gonna make a few sort of close-up shots. So the sound you're hearing, the air sound, it's actually the spirulina from inside the wax. That's probably like making this very airy sound. Alright, so I'll shoot closer from this height. Lower. It's gonna be smoky in here. Alright, so my flight got delayed again twice already today. So it's gonna give me time to sand this and get the final layer before finally leaving. So yesterday I tried putting some epoxy in here. It's quite frustrating because it's very hard to apply and you need some gloves. So I just got gloves today. As you can see, the paint kind of chipped here because I hadn't scratched it and roughed it up enough so that this layer, this ground layer could stick. So hopefully with this epoxy it'll create a rigid surface that I can then sand and have this nice smooth all around. So this is what I'm working on today, is putting the epoxy and then hopefully by tonight putting my base coat of blue. So I just received the inlay for the mound. So it's actually boiled wool. I'm seeing it for the first time. Oh, it's very nice. I'll show you a bit closer. It has pretty cool texture, which is what I wanted. I wanted it to be dark blue and textured. So you can see the texture pretty well. So that's gonna be inside the mound, kind of draping. And I finished, this. And this piece has really been teaching me something. Since you guys know, I've been studying astrology for a while now. I'm entering my Sub-Dasha of Saturn soon, which is like a 10-month period of my life. And Saturn for me is in the house of the unconscious. And what I'm learning from this piece is to connect with my unconscious. That's the mysteries of the Visca Pisces. And how it's teaching me this is by allowing me to see parts of myself that are usually run automatically. For example, this piece has been so much work. It has forced me to have long-term vision, which is very Saturnian, and to keep pushing forward at a slow pace but consistently. It's been like maybe a bit more than a year I've been doing the frame with Adam, and then all the assembly, the welding, finding the materials, going back and forth to the store so many times. And then I thought, okay, the hardest part is done. I had it powder coated last week, actually like 2 weeks ago. And then I'm like, okay, it's easy now. I just have to put a base layer and start the painting and that's it. But no, like I've been working, I don't know, maybe 5-6 complete days on the prep. The base layer is this shellac base that I had to first sand the base to make sure it has adherence, the base being metal. Then I put this first shellac layer everywhere. Well, first taping the sides was so long. Putting the shellac layer, then sanding it, putting the, I bought a professional primer for oils, the Gap from a Rublev, an Oxide ground, titanium white. Put one layer, sand, another layer, sand. Then take the tape off. Even taking that tape off was long. But what I realized about my behavior is that when I have this energy of production because of my Martian first house, I tend to want to do things quickly, and I get tired, I get overwhelmed, and I don't stop until I'm finished. And that's what this project has been teaching me, to catch myself doing that. Catch myself forcing my all of my being to go to the finish line in that moment. Because then I do mistakes. Like, for example, I was sanding it and I just went a bit too fast and scratched the frame. And, after a few times of scratching the frame, I was like, okay, I caught myself and I'm like, okay, I have to stop. And then I stopped for like 20 minutes. It was enough to ground myself and start going slower, because it's such a boring job for me to do things like that I tend to want to go even quicker. And so after taking the tape off, then some of the paint peeled off on the sides, on the edges. So I was like, shit, what am I supposed to do now? So I decided to buy actually some epoxy paste meant for steel. So yeah, that's my update for today. I just finished this little piece here and it just feels so good to be back painting, because I've been planning. This is the most planned, I guess. It feels so good to be back painting, because this piece was the most planned. There are so many steps, so many layers to achieve it. And now that I'm back in the flow, improvising and seeing the mysteries of this painting unfold before my eyes is so fulfilling. So I was like painting this cross here. It seems like it would have been a very simple thing, but the first stroke that blended the white with the black and this kind of whiskey quality just opened up the realm. And because this is supposed to represent the divine masculine, and then in the divine that exists within the divine feminine, and so how they are merging together. And we often relate the divine masculine to a sun, and the sun being light. This looks like little solar flares that kind of whisk out into the void. So there's this kind of emanation coming from this source, and only this quality. Like I usually do mock-ups, but I can't do a mock-up of this. Like this can only happen when you're in the flow and doing it in person. So I just love how this is turning out. And then I was questioning also in this center if I should put the Hourglass Nebula, and kind of starting to doubt a little bit my original ideas. And then I'm realizing that I shouldn't be doubting. I just rechecked like all my notes about the nebula and how it's a dying star that emits gas, and in this shape of the hourglass. Hourglass for me is linked with time, this hourglass that you turn. And this is all about the Saturn constriction of time that makes, the tides shift into this new Aeon of the black sun. So there is all these metaphors that are starting to get linked together as I'm creating them. And it's just such a beautiful thing to be in that flow. So I thought I would share that. Also, I think it's interesting to share that. I think it's interesting to share this. This is the black I used. It's Rublev. It's a kind of handmade natural pigment. So the black is actually like this iron oxide. So that's why it's so heavy. It's iron to create this. I don't know. There's a link to Saturn as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of all these time lapses. Next week, a lot more time lapse, even more than this one, because I'm finishing the Mound, painting the Portal of Eminence in its entirety, and perhaps if I have time to squeeze in the moving of all the pieces into the art gallery. So I'll be posting that next week. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. Yeah, much love and light to all of you guys. See you next week.